Okay, so Sonia and I are here. She's back there. And we're at the grocery store and we're giving flowers out on Happy Monday to random strangers. What if challenge, baby? It's freaking me out. Random acts of kindness. 14 acts of kindness over 14 days. It was way harder than we thought.
The word random caught us off at first because in order to do random things, you have to kind of just run into those. And we live out of town and we work at our home. So to go to town and just randomly sit there and watch for random things to do would have taken way much more time. That sounds wrong.
Way much more?
Way much more time than we had. So
just the idea of being random caught us off guard for sure.
So we figured out it needed to be intentional.
Intentional.
So intentional acts of kindness.
And that can be spontaneous too.
Yes.
Yeah, spontaneous, but intentional for sure.
We also found out at the beginning that it was going to take more cash than we expected. And I think that was harder for you.
Not because I didn't want to spend it, but just the definition of what an act of kindness was.
Yes.
Right? In my mind, I'm thinking that act of kindness needs to be something that you don't spend money on. Maybe you go help someone rake leaves or help, right? That kind of thing. And so even my first challenge was about going and helping a neighbor, right? Plow out his driveway, which was great. But that's what I had in my head, and that made for some big challenges for us as we try to get started with doing the acts of kindness.
So we did do some without that were not involved with money, such as we called a few people that we hadn't talked to in a while and gave encouragement that way. You wrote a note to someone. That typically can't use a stamp, but it wasn't a lot of money.
How did we come to the conclusion that we had a difference of definition on what acts of kindness were?
Well, it was very interesting because we had the young people over on Wednesday night.
Young adults.
And they were in our living room, and Kevin just spoke up and said, hey, I need your opinion on this. And it was awesome because it was like a roundtable discussion of what is an act of kindness and what does that mean and why do we do it? And I think that's what we had to talk about was why even do this challenge? What was the point of it all, and what was our reasoning behind it? We figured out that we kind of had a little bit of differences of why we were doing it, but at the same time it came down to the end is we just really wanted to bless others.
What were some of our favorite acts of kindness? They were all kind of good in their own way, but there definitely were a few highlights.
There were. So if you look at our list, ta-da, we did make a list. Some of mine were just having to do with people, right? And having those conversations. I love getting together with the young adults and just getting to know them on a more personal level. And that was probably one of my favorites. And even going out to lunch with somebody new that I hadn't gotten to talk to in a really long time, that was really nice too.
Yeah, I think we both discovered that some of our favorites of acts of kindness definitely had to do with conversations with people. And some of mine as well. Some of my favorites had to do with conversations, meeting with someone, talking with them, being encouragement with them.
But our favoritist one involved two, and it had to do with the pizza and the flowers. A little bit of a story here. Shall we talk?
I don't. Why do we want to talk?
Well, this story is the epitome of what this challenge was about. We were going into town to intentionally do some acts of kindness. Like literally, that's the reason we were going into town. We had some ideas of things that we wanted to do. And we had talked about these things. This is after the Wednesday night that we had talked to the young people and they had given us some clarity on our differences of what we thought acts of kindness were. And so we were driving into town and I thought this is the way it was gonna go. We were gonna go do our couple acts of kindness and go get coffee and celebrate what we had done.
We did go get coffee.
We were driving into town and we were talking and we headed towards Starbucks first. I said, oh, we're gonna get coffee first and then go do this. And he says, yeah, we're gonna go to Starbucks and then we're gonna sit and talk about it, what we're gonna do. Okay. I I thought we were just gonna go do these things, but we're gonna talk about them first. If that's gonna make you more comfortable, we're gonna go to Starbucks first. So we went and got our coffee, and we sat down, and we talked, and we talked.
Yeah, we had to
We had a plan.
We had to figure out like how it was gonna go, and I was nervous about how what we were gonna do.
Then I came up with another act of kindness we could do. We were in Starbucks, and these baristas are friends.
Right. So instead of buying people coffee at Starbucks, which we actually didn't do in any of the acts of kindness, which is perfectly fine.
Which, if you all know us, that's
yeah.
something you think we would have done.
But Sonia had a great idea, a spontaneous idea, that instead of buying people coffee at Starbucks, we should actually do something nice for the baristas at Starbucks, since they serve us more often than they probably should.
So I said, hey, let's buy him pizza for dinner. He's like, let me think about that for a moment. Did you not?
I did.
And I said, no. I went up to the counter. I got up. No.
But what if they brought their dinner?
It didn't matter.
Would it be weird? I don't know. Like, do we have it delivered? Do we go get it?
I went up to the counter right away, and I asked him what they would eat on their pizza.
She did.
And I went back to the table. I told him to get out his phone and order it on his app. We were going to go get it, and we would talk about the next one on our way to get pizza. Let's go. Let's go. He's still looking at his phone, trying to figure out. I don't know. He was nervous to order the pizza.
I don't know.
It was weird.
All I have to say is that you're a rock star.
Well, that's not where the story ends.
No, it's not.
So, we went and got the pizza, and that was awesome, and they were very thankful. We actually heard the next day from other coworkers, hey, we heard you guys bought us pizza, and so that was super cool. But we delivered the pizza. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go do the next thing, and he's like, okay, and so we drove across the street
to the grocery store.
To the grocery store.
So the idea was that we were going to go in and buy flowers inside the grocery store, and then we were going to hand them out to people as they came out of the grocery store.
But guess who wanted to sit in the parking lot and talk about it?
I know. It was just like, what if they kicked us out? What if we couldn't ever buy groceries there again? What if we got arrested?
What if?
I know. I went the wrong way.
Instead of that.
That's so true. I hadn't even thought of that yet. I went the wrong way with the what if.
He did. He was letting fear keep him from doing things. But it turned into one of the best ones, I think, because I said, nope, I got out of the car. I said, let's go. This is what we're going to do.
So we did. We went outside, and we literally, ended up being, what, 8?
18.
Is there 18? Yeah, there was six little bunches of flowers inside the big bunch. And so we literally just gave flowers to people as they were coming out.
And just said, have a happy Monday.
Yeah, it was really cool. There was so many people that came out with just kind of long faces, like, garbage shopping. And then as soon as you gave them a flower, they're like what? Right? I was worried they're gonna think that we were selling them. We weren't. We're just giving them away. And out of 18, only one person actually said no, thank you. And it wasn't even because I don't.
No, and she said it with a smile. She had her hands full.
She may have been allergic to flowers. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
What did we learn from these intentional
acts of kindness?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that they are intentional. Right, just in general, when we're out in public and when we're talking to people, or like one of the things that I did was just some dude in a line that I was standing in looked like some, he looked like an introvert. Doesn't really want to talk to anybody, but I struck up a conversation with him, and he had a good time in that conversation. Those simple little things, but being aware and the fact that we really have to be very intentional.
I think we learned that we can be a blessing to all kinds of people, no matter their status in life, I guess you would say. Everybody deserves to have kindness.
We also learned that, again, seeming like with all these challenges, we learned how important communication is.
Very much so.
And so for us, defining what kindness was in the beginning would have helped us quite a bit as we worked through it.
And I think we learned sometimes not to get stuck on certain things, like not overthinking, and not letting the other person's personality keep us from doing our passion.
I was letting, because I like to think through everything, I was basically squelching her joy in the process of being kind because I was taking too long. Yeah.
That's okay. I still love you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem.
As we think about kindness going forward, I think we need to be more aware.
Definitely more aware. Keeping our heads up, keeping them out of our phones and our to-do lists, and our eyes looking and our hearts looking for those places that we can just say a kind word or an encouragement. It doesn't always have to be buying someone something, but it might be.
It might
be. Right? Maybe someone just needs you to buy that cup of coffee that day because they just needed to know someone else cared.
Kindness comes in all shapes and sizes. So let's just all be intentional about it. All right. So you've seen Life as We Live It. Now our encouragement to you is go live a better story in your life as you live it. I know. Go lay down. Go lay down somewhere. Go.
Lay down.
Crazy dog. The dog just burped.